Hi, this is Lisa from 27 Polish, and today I'm going to tell you all of my secrets on how I make changes good using pigments from solarcolordust.com. This is a shot of the bottle that I sell on Etsy, and as you can see, it's a purple base polish with fuchsia glitter, but it's more than meets the eye. This polish actually changes color when you put it on your nails, as you can see. Because my body is warm, the base color is pink, and the tips of the nails have stayed purple. If I was completely cold, my whole nail would be purple. And the fuchsia glitters stand out perfectly no matter what color your nails are. It's a pretty cool effect. Whenever I make polish, I like to start with a clear, clean table. I always put down a piece of wax paper to catch any loose pigments and glitters because this does get pretty messy, no matter what you do. You're also going to need an empty bottle and some mixing beads. I bought these at naillight.com. The beads were from TKB Trading. These are stainless steel beads. I do not recommend buying the BBs that you can find at Walmart simply because their coating will come off in nail polish bases. Sometimes it's not noticeable, but sometimes it can be. And just save yourself the hassle and get the stainless steel ones. So I'm going to put that to the side. Of course, you're also going to need your pigment. I use glitter in this one. This is fuchsia glitter from glitterunique.com. This is their fuchsia hex 0.008. I use measuring spoons from TKB Trading, dash, smidgen, and pinch measurements. Syringes are a staple for nail polish makers. This is the 15 ml size, but ideally you should be working with something a little bit bigger because your bottle itself is 15 mils. Ideally, if you're going to be mixing in a syringe, which I sometimes do, you need something a little bit bigger so that you could fill the whole thing and do your mixing within the syringe. But you'll see how I compensate for that if you just don't have the resources or the right syringes on hand. I also have a 1 ml syringe. This is my absolute favorite syringe because you can use it for anything. If this one's dirty, it might take longer, but you can use this to make the big ones all the same. I actually did not get this one at TKB Trading. This was from the vet's office, but if you can find it, I recommend these syringes from Kalmar. I'm not sure if that's how you say the name, but these syringes are awesome, and I'll show you why. In a regular syringe, you have a plastic cap. I hate these stupid things. Once you use these in lacquer, they're going to fall off so easily, and you'll find that if you don't lube this tip, it's going to come right off and get stuck in your syringe bottle. Kalmar makes awesome one because it's just one piece of plastic. This can't get lost, nothing falls off, all in one fell swoop, and no matter how many times you use it in lacquer or clean it with acetone, it glides just the same. It's perfect. I love these. I wish I could find more of these online in smaller. I can find these online in bulk sizes, no problem, but you know, I'm not going to spend 50 bucks for 100 of these. So for right now, I only own 2. But hey, it works. Finally, like I was talking about the syringes, you need something to lube these tips or you're going to lose them because they become junk after like 2 uses. So I usually dip the tip in some, this is actually cuticle balm. It was Sunny's Miracle Balm. I find that I don't typically use cuticle oil as much as I should, so I just use this as a lubricant for my syringe tips, and it works just fine. So now that that's lubed up, I may not need it at all. If you don't lube these up, they don't go down the syringe whatsoever, and that's still kind of, there we go. When you make polish, you're also going to need a stirring stick of some kind. This is actually a chopstick that I got at my local grocery store. I'm also going to use this scoop from solarcolordust.com to level off all of my measurements in my spoons. And then finally, I had to go track this down. I'm going to need a foot for my syringe since I'm only making 1 bottle of polish. I'm going to use the foot as an anchor in my bottle. Alright, to start off with, I like to put a little bit of lacquer in the syringe. I never start out with pigment for the following reason. This area down here is going to catch your glitter or your pigments or your base coat, and you're not going to be able to mix whatever gets down into this part. So I just like to keep it clear with the clear base. So my very first step is always, I fill up my tiny syringe and put 1 to 2 mils, sometimes even more, down in the bottom. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and add my glitter. In my opinion, it really doesn't matter which you do first. So in this color, I used almost a whole dash of fuchsia glitter. So I'm just mixing it all out. That feels about right to me. And just pour it in. Next I use the pigment itself. And I used 2 dashes of pigment in this color. And as you can see, I have a chunk here. I'm going to go ahead and clean off the measurement with this little scoop. Dump that in. Get one more. Dump that in. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill up my syringe with clear coat. Now, I've only filled up my syringe to about here because I still need to do some mixing within my syringe. Now, if you're only making one bottle for yourself and you're not selling to people, this method is completely fine. However, if you're trying to make large quantities of polish, I'd recommend using bigger syringes so that you can fill them completely up and just squirt and go. Or you can use a really big bottle that you can find at Sally's to make huge batches and then just use that one squirt bottle to fill several nail polish bottles at once. So now I have all my pigment and my glitter and some clear coat. I'm going to use my chopstick and go ahead and just stir everything up really well. I like to be sure to scrape the sides. Now with 2 dashes of pigment, I still use 2 coats on my nails. And this is the effect that it looks like with 2 coats. And as you can see, apparently my fingers are now cold because my polish is completely purple. And it's up to you. The beauty of making nail polish is that you can decide how opaque it is and the effects that you want. I think that's probably pretty good. So next what I'm going to do is go ahead and release this foot, and it's going to start flowing into my bottle. Or maybe it won't. I'm going to use the sides to try to get as much polish as I can off of my chopstick. And set that to the side. Like I said earlier, if you're using a syringe like this, you may or may not need to put something on this rubber so that it doesn't get stuck in your syringe. So some of it's dripping into my bottle, but to get the rest, I'm just going to push it down in there. And then it's really important so that this doesn't get stuck and make it a pain to clean. Even though you're finished with it, separate the 2 pieces. Put them to the side. Now, as you can see, there's still an area in here that doesn't have any polish. This is where my little mini syringe comes in handy, and I'm just going to go ahead and top it off with clear coat. You could also use this time to test to make sure the color is what you want it to be. Alright, that's almost to the top, so I'm going to go ahead. You can use a shaker top, or you can just use the brush itself and then go ahead and start shaking. And when this is finished, you're going to have a bottle of polish for yourself, for a friend, family member, or to sell.